What's up, beautiful people? Welcome to another exciting episode of Ask Dr. O with Dr. O. You already know. And in today's episode, we have something interesting to talk about, okay? So I've received this question a couple of times in my DM where people tell me that they did a pregnancy test and it was positive, and somehow it turned out that they were not pregnant. And they're like, how is that possible? Like, what really went wrong? Was there something wrong with the testing kit? But I'm really just wondering that, or could they have been pregnant and something happened and all that. Anyways, that's why I'm here. I'm here to break things down for you, okay? So let's jump right into it. If you take a pregnancy test, okay, and you get 2 lines on the pregnancy test, that means you are pregnant. If you see 1 line, it means you are not pregnant. Now, some people have seen 2 lines on the pregnancy testing kit, and it turns out that they were actually not pregnant. They saw the 2 lines, but maybe they didn't experience any pregnancy symptoms, or they waited over time for their belly to start growing and then start having bump and all that, and it never happened. So they're just like, okay, what really went wrong? What could have happened? Okay, if you have a positive pregnancy test when you're not pregnant, this is called a false positive pregnancy test. So this means that the test results are false. Basically, you're not pregnant. And how can you possibly get a positive pregnancy test? So one of the situations where this happens is if you have something known as a chemical pregnancy. So basically, a chemical pregnancy is when you actually get pregnant, but then a miscarriage actually happens before it's time for you to see your period. Such that when that happens, it seems like you had your regular period. Meanwhile, you're actually having a miscarriage and you don't even know. So the only way that you know that you are ever pregnant is if you take a pregnancy test, or if you were to take a pregnancy test for whatever reason, right? So this happens to people sometimes. They had a chemical pregnancy, which means they were actually pregnant, but they lost the pregnancy too soon, and that resulted in a false positive pregnancy test. So that's one of the reasons you get a false positive. And I know this can be devastating if especially if you have been trying to conceive your ITCC mom, and then you now realize that, oh, you were actually really pregnant and you lost it, and then you begin to have so many questions in your head and all that. But anyway, that's one of the reasons. Now, another reason why someone can have a false positive pregnancy test is, again, this is common with TTC moms when you're taking fertility drugs. So some drugs might interfere with the pregnancy test results, right? And actually make it turn out positive when in actual fact you're not pregnant, right? If you're taking fertility drugs and you take a pregnancy test and it's positive, especially if you have no pregnancy symptoms, it might be a good idea to double check that pregnancy test results at a lab by doing a quantitative beta HCG blood test, or by doing a scan about 6 weeks after you miss your period. That way, when you do a quantitative beta HCG, it says the different levels of beta HCG in the blood, and if you're actually pregnant, this level of beta HCG should be increasing with time. Same with the scan. If you're pregnant, embryo will be picked up on the scan. Fertility medications could cause false positive pregnancy test. Chemical pregnancy could cause a false positive pregnancy test. Now, the last thing that could possibly cause you to have a false positive pregnancy test could be if you have any issues with your ovaries. Certain issues with the ovaries could actually lead to false positive tests on a pregnancy testing kit. So if you had a false positive test, right, you want to check with your doctor that you don't have any issues with your ovaries. And if you are taking fertility medications, now you know why. And if you are not taking fertility medications and your doctor says you don't have a problem with your ovaries, then it's possible that maybe you had a chemical pregnancy, okay? And I think that's kind of like good news in a way, because if you're a TTC mom, then you know that you actually can get pregnant. You don't actually have a problem getting pregnant, right? So it's good motivation for you to try again. And this time, we hope for the best. If you enjoyed watching this video so far, don't forget to click the like button below and share with your friends. Remember, a healthy you is a happy you. See you next time.